Let's look at how you can use Serviceware to understand the cost drivers and consumption behaviour of your IT products, services, and projects. Serviceware's Visual Service Analyzer provides a graphical understanding of the interrelated costs of IT. It allows IT departments to identify what are the main cost drivers to provide IT services, products, and projects, bringing together the primary costs, intermediate costs, and any related projects. For IT functions, your mandate is shifting rapidly from managing infrastructure to delivering measurable business value. But one of the biggest barriers we see today is the inability to clearly understand the total cost of ownership and value flow of IT. There are three core challenges that consistently stand in the way. Firstly, fragmented cost data. IT cost data is often siloed across departments, tools, and spreadsheets, and according to Gartner, organizations spend up to 20% more than necessary due to hidden or misallocated costs. Secondly, a lack of dynamic analysis. Without the ability to slice and analyze data in live scenarios, it becomes nearly impossible to answer strategic questions or respond to business challenges with agility. This affects forecasting accuracy and slows down digital transformation initiatives. And finally, the inability to link consumption with cost. There's often no transparent mapping between who's using IT services, what services they're using, and how that translates into actual costs. Without this visibility driving accountability or optimizing spend, it all becomes a guesswork. The bottom line, without an integrated, actionable cost insights, you're flying blind, missing out on opportunities to optimize spend, improve service alignment, and unlock more value from your IT investments. Serviceware is purpose-built to help IT move from that reactive cost tracking to proactive value creation. And here's how. Firstly, we help to break down the total cost of ownership. Serviceware gives you a single source of truth for all IT costs, bringing together data from different silos across departments, tools, and spreadsheets. This enables you to accurately model and break down the TCO by service, project, or business unit, providing clarity on where your budget is really going. Secondly, and the particular focus of today, is the value flow mapping. Beyond just costs, we help you understand value. How are IT services being consumed? What business functions they support? This makes it easier to connect consumption directly to the cost centers and KPIs, enabling smarter decisions on where to invest or optimize. And then finally, optimization. With full transparency and dynamic insights, you can shift from managing spend to optimizing it. Whether it's reallocating underused resources, identifying costly legacy services, or forecasting future demand, Serviceware empowers IT to operate as a value center, not just a cost center. Let's start by looking at the Sankey diagram, which provides a high-level view of the entire IT service portfolio, all in one unified view. The power of this interface is flexibility. Users can explore data at any level of granularity, from a global overview to grouped initiatives like SAP rollouts, down to the specific application level. This means CIOs and IT leaders can tailor their view to match strategic priorities. In this view, we're focused on the cost flows, designed to help you instantly spot your main cost drivers. The bigger the area, the more costs it's driving. We can see the primary cost categories at the bottom, and if we drill down into this, you can see the 3.5 million relates to software licensing. At the top, however, what we see is that the majority of the costs are coming from the intermediate services. What's powerful here is the ability to drill down. We can go from a high-level category to the exact source of the cost increase. So for example, in this scenario, I can see what are the intermediate components required to deliver this SAP platform. There's application developer costs, development platform, support costs, and we can drill down into the intermediate services right down to the primary cost level. Now the beauty behind this is you can choose which time period you want to compare to. So if there's cost increases for this SAP platform in this actual scenario, we can go back into previous dates or future plans and compare and contrast and see the differences right there visually and with data. This enables data-driven conversations with the business. When asked why are costs increasing, you now have a clear visual answer grounded in data. You can export this into pivot tables and report and send to your teams. Now, having seen what's driving the cost, we can also see who's driving the cost by switching to the discharge view and linking costs with consumption behaviour. The discharge view shows us exactly who's consuming these applications and see the different cost centres and how much of the cost they're responsible for. One example where this can become especially powerful is when costs are rising while demand is dropping. You can use this information to build a business case to scale down or retire underused services, freeing up budgets for higher impact initiatives. This ties IT spending directly to business value and consumption. To make this even more powerful, you can switch to the spider diagram. The spider diagram helps you to further transform how you understand IT costs, not just as abstract totals, but value flows tied to business units. If we focus on the cost center that's consuming this the most, we can see that they drive a disproportionate share of the costs, around 35%. You can then start to evaluate whether the consumption is aligned with value derived. Are high cost consumers delivering proportionate business impact? As an example, you can use this to also drive data-driven accountability. With unit pricing and consumption amounts clearly visible, business leaders can't dispute allocations. They can see what they used, what it costs, and how it compares to others. This visibility supports chargeback and showback models, driving behavioural changes and responsible consumption. And finally, you could use this to enable what-if and forecasting modelling. Views like this are foundational for simulation. What happens to the cost distribution if usage changes, if the unit price drops, or if shared services are restructured? This supports agile planning and proactive IT portfolio management. And finally, not only can you do this from a business unit perspective, you can also do it from a cost driver perspective. If we zoom into one example, we can see where are the costs coming from, where are they being pushed to, how much does one unit cost, what's the total amount we're using, and how much of the total cost does this relate to. For IT teams to truly drive value, we need to move beyond just tracking spend. We need to understand how and why IT costs occur. This is where the unit analysis and value flow mapping really come in. This information empowers you with dynamic cost insights, behavioral visibility, and actionable cost drivers to allow you to optimize your IT spend and unlock the value behind IT.